Guys, my girlfriend's butt is simply too big. So I'm building her a chair. This was actually a commission that I got from my girlfriend's mother. She asked me to make her a chair. She recently got rid of a bench that was on her front porch, and she just wanted something with a little bit of storage. So this is my best attempt. I was pretty happy with it. This is me putting in some 2x4s on the bottom just to give the chair a little bit more support, but also that way I have something to drill the slats for the inside of the chair too, because it needs a little bit of storage. Right now I'm putting on two little accent pieces for the side, which are there to help make it so it's a flush surface whenever I put the seat on, but also to cover up the awkwardness of those two little side panels. They don't look bad, I just didn't want that gap from the side panels to be seen. This was me making the lid for the chair. I didn't have a piece long enough for the back. I said I was gonna keep recording when I actually did, but then I got hit with the orb of confusion and just kind of stopped filming stuff. I also forgot to record myself making the backrest, so I guess you'll never know how I did it. When I kept secrets, don't ask me how. This is me putting the backrest on the actual chair. As you can tell, it's a little bit wonky. Don't know what happened with my level, but ended up fixing that after I finished recording that part. This is me putting the top of the seat on. Fit pretty well. It was pretty snug. Right now, I'm drilling out some holes to put hinges on. I did this on the top as well. Again, just didn't film it. This is me putting the hinges on, making sure they're good, and then I also put the lid for the seat on just to make sure that it was in place and just to have one less thing to worry about. It opened pretty smoothly, so I was pretty happy with it. Right now I'm just drilling some holes into the armrests so I can attach them to the chair. I drilled some screws into the post in the front so I can attach the armrest there, and then I just drilled the armrest into the back post. I then just held all the pieces for the table up to the chair just to make sure they'd fit in that little spot, and I'm just kind of eyeballing a 2x4 just for the height, and then I cut it in half just for those front two legs, and then I measured the distance just to make sure that they'd fit with those pieces of wood that I have for the top. I'm cutting out a little accent piece for the front of those two legs. Then a day later, I ran out of time the day before. This is me putting it all together. Like I've said so many times now, I forgot to film the rest of it. And then this is me drilling out holes so I can screw the pieces of wood on for the top of the table. However, this doesn't really matter because I ended up just taking those screws out and gluing the pieces of wood down because it just looked a lot better. And I didn't like the eyesore of the screws. I didn't want to screw it in at first, but I was just going to, but I decided to take it out. So you'll see it's changed here. There's no screws or anything. I then measured out the distance on the inside from the back to the front, and then I cut a piece of wood out that length. This is me starting to fill in the inside just to have some support on the bottom, and I had to use this tool, can't remember the name, to cut out just where some pieces of wood are on the inside just to make sure it was like an exact fit. I then went through, marked out where every board was, drilled out holes, and then screwed them all in. Like I said, this were the 2x4s before. And then she asked for a little plant holder, so I just made this kind of rectangular box. Forgot to film that too, surprise, surprise. And then I just used my router to bevel the top and the bottom edge. This was it when it was done. Nothing here sanded. This would usually be the part where I start to pick out stain, and then I sand the whole thing smooth. However, I'm waiting for her mother to pick out the stain that she wants. So once she does that, I'll have another video of me sanding and staining it. I brought it over to her house, put it on her porch, fit perfectly. She was really happy with it. Stick around for part 2 when I make it look like chair, but different.